Okay, so we know all about topics, we know all about brokers, we know about all replication. But now, how do we get data in Kafka? Well, that's the role of a producer. And producer, they will write data to topics, and the topics again are made of partitions. So producers are kind of magical, but people who write producers, the clients will use is that the producers they automatically know to which broker and partition to write to. You don't have to specify that. And so for you, that removes a lot of the burden. You just connect to Kafka, and then the producers automatically know to which broker and partition to write to. So when there's a broker failure, for example, and the broker goes down, as we see in the previous example, the producers, they will automatically recover. They're good. They're just well programmed. You don't have to implement that feature. It's done for you. So here's what it looks like in real life. So we have a producer, and it's sending data to partition 0, 1, and 2 of topic A. And now we have the source of these writes that we had before. And so basically the producer will see how it understands to which broker to send data to. But basically, if you send the data without a key, then data will be sent round robin to broker 101, 102, and 103. So basically, by sending data to Kafka, to the topic, the producer will load balance, automatically send a little bit to broker 1, a little bit of broker 2, a little bit of broker 3, and then switch on again. So this is how load balancing is done in Kafka. Now, if we take the exact same topic, before we go into load balancing and keys, let's look at how the producer can write. So the producer can choose to receive acknowledgement of data writes. Acknowledgement is a synonym for a confirmation. And so there's 3 confirmation or acknowledgement mode. X equals 0, which is the producer just sends the data and it will not wait for acknowledgements. In that case, there's a possible data loss. Because if you send the data to your broker and the broker is down, well, we don't know about it because we say X equals 0 and we will not get an acknowledgement and we'll lose the data. So this is tricky, and we'll see examples in which X equals 0 is used, but it's very dangerous. X equals 1 is the default, which is producer will wait for the leader to acknowledge. So it sends data, for example, to partition 0, to broker 101, and it says, hey, here's the data. And when the broker has it, and it's written and stuff, broker will say, all right, I have it, here's the acknowledgements. And so there's limited data loss. We'll see when data loss happens for this case. And then there's X equals all. And X equals all is the leader, so broker 101, for example, and all the replicas. So the replicas are not shown in this diagram, but you can remember the replicas diagram. So the leader and the replicas have to say, yep, I got the data. And then you have no data loss because you know that the replicas also have the data. So even if you lose broker 101, you're good. Anyway, this is a bit advanced right now, but just remember you have 3 send modes, 0, 1, and all for X. And the more you go towards all, the less data loss you'll get. Now, let's talk about message keys for producers. Producers can choose to send a key with the message. And the key can be anything you want. It can be a string, it can be a number, it could be whatever you want. And if the key is not sent, so key equals null, then the data will be sent round robin. So this is what we saw before. So that means that the first message will be sent to broker 101, then the second message will be sent to broker 102, etc., etc., etc. So it round robins across the partitions and therefore across the brokers. And if a key is sent, then all the messages for that key will always go to the same partition. That's a Kafka guarantee. So what is a key? Key is, as I said, anything that you want, a string, a number, etc., etc. So a key is something you would specify when you need message ordering for a specific field of your data. So if we go back to my trucking example, we have 1,000 trucks, right? And we want each data for each truck to be in order, okay? Not across the trucks, but just for my one truck, I want to get the data in order. And so I will choose my key to be truck ID. And maybe the truck ID is a number, maybe it's a string, okay? But I will choose truck ID as my key. So now we have our producer and we'll send data. And using the key equals truck ID, what happens is that, as an example, truck ID 123, so that's my 123rd truck. The data for truck ID 123 will always go to partition 0. And truck ID 234 also will always go to partition 0. But that's arbitrary, okay? And truck ID 345 could be going to partition 1. And 456 will always go to partition 1 as well. And so basically, the mechanism of key to partition is called hashing, and it's a bit advanced, but it's called key hashing, and it depends on the number of partition and whatever you choose. But the bottom line is, you don't say this key goes to this partition, But you know that this key will always go to the same partition. So for example, we always know that truck ID 123 will go to partition 0. If it goes once there, it'll go all the time there. We'll see this again in the hands-on and will probably make more sense. So that's about it for producers. At a high level, again, just remember, there's keys, the concept of keys, the concept of acknowledgements, the concept of round robin, but you get the idea. And in the next lecture, we'll see the other side of the picture, which is consumers.